Hello, everyone. Oh man, as soon as I said hello, everyone, we went from 25 people watching to 21. I understand, man, guys. As soon as I said hello, everyone, we went from 20. I understand. And yes, I did just have the stream on in the background to make sure it was working, so you probably heard me twice. Got that muted. It's such a dumb Jake world coming in with 21 savage. It's always so annoying using OBS and YouTube because OBS's integrated YouTube chat doesn't allow you to at somebody. I mean, you can. It's just not going to bring up the username, which I guess isn't a huge deal because I'm speaking on the microphone, so I don't need to add people in the chat. You know, that's actually really good point. Making this harder for myself than it needs to be. Yeah, whatever. Y'all know I don't do streaming often. Now I personally don't stream. Turn up the music here. Personally don't stream, but I am on stream quite often on Thursday nights. Friends of mine who stream games, so they handle all the streaming side of things, not me. Learn how to use a mic Delta Boomer. Oh, of course you must be. Yeah, sure enough, you're from the server. If anybody here in the YouTube chat is wondering why specific commenters are being so mean to me, it's most likely because they're in the official Delta Tryon server, so they kind of have to be mean to me. So I was thinking about having all the Patreon members' names up on screen, but y'all are so mean to me, I'm not going to do it. Dumb Jake, we're all out here saying you're so old. Yeah, I know, Toy Chud. Guys, Toy Chud is in the chat. Bro literally has a child on the way. Yes. Very old. JS is... You know what, JS? You're right. You're not mean. I may be a little mean to you. Contractually obligated. Very off-topic question, but have you read Resident Alien? My speech teacher let me borrow her copy of the first volume. It's really good. Isn't that I thought that was a TV show with Alan Tudyk. Is it a comic, a book? Is it something else as well? What's up, Axel? It's a show. Okay. I guess it's a show and other things. Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about. Let me know if the jazz in the background is too loud. I like to have it in the background, but I don't want it to be overpowering. Can you even hear it? Delta Dad is a swell guy. Tomcat over here leaking that my name in the server is Delta Dad. Which, if you're not a part of the server, I know Toy Chud in here, wherever Jake is probably screaming, you're supposed to be representing and selling your Patreon. If you want to be a part of the server, you can do that through Patreon. It's just a $1 to enter, and it's not a monthly. It's not required to be a monthly subscription thing. It's just that way we don't have a bunch of random people joining in and making a muck. As soon as you put a step, especially with even just $1 to get in, you have a little bit more security. So, but if you don't want to spend that $1, then maybe just hang around the stream. Maybe we'll have some free entry codes to give away. Hey, Sonic. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Energon Universe TV show. This is something that was, it technically was announced back in, I think, October of last year. I was on vacation. Everybody else was talking about it. I was out in the mountains, and I didn't really feel a need to speak on it, really, because there wasn't much really revealed. And to this day, it's the same information. There's still really not There's still really not much. There's only ever been one article, and that's Deadline. But that's kind of what I want to talk about, because even as time has passed on, I see a lot of people talking about the show as if it exists, and like a trailer's just around the corner, or it's going to be shadow dropped. And I kind of want to talk about it. I'm not here to burst anyone's bubble, but just kind of to put some expectations in check. I thought about making a dedicated video to this, but thought, well, it's been a while since we've done a stream, so we'll just do a stream and discuss it. Dumb Jake says, "Yo, Delta, it's not out, just so you know." Okay, thank God, I didn't know. Whew. It's official as of last year, as I checked. We'll get to it, Cody. We'll get to that. It's roughly around the same time last year, right before San Diego Comic. Yeah, I'm talking about the Sonic. I'm talking about the Deadline article that really has information. No trailer. Yeah, guys, I know there's no trailer. Again, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about some of the misconceptions here about the show. I'm very well aware of what has been talked about and what has not been talked about. So, the rumor. Oh, I see what you're saying, Sonic. The rumor was before San Diego Comic-Con. The official announcement was in October. Yeah. First time catching a stream. Welcome. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch over to some different artwork here, so you're not staring at this all the time. This is just gonna kind of loop in the background as we're going. If you're not aware, this is the 2026 Energon Universe connecting cover. So if you have not caught up in Energon Universe titles, then there's probably going to be some spoilers on here. Just so you're aware, I'm not going to go through and blur out. And if you notice in the bottom right corner, we have, of course, Cyberworld Galvatron doing his, I don't know, whatever that pose is. I just really enjoy that PNG for some reason. I got all the 2024, 2025 ones. Can't wait to collect all these. Yeah, you know what's? It's a little unfortunate, Sonic. This is a nice, high-quality render for the 2026 covers. There's a good, high-quality render of the 2025, but not of 2024. I've not been able to find a high-quality image of the 2024 connecting covers. I've found some, but they're all like 200 pixels by 100, but they're tiny. They're tiny images. And so technically you could go and get each one of them and stitch them together, but I didn't have time to do that this morning. So maybe I'll do it after the stream, but this will just be playing in the background. Okay, lots of questions I'm already seeing about the show. What I want to do first is I want to go through some points. I wrote down points that I was going to do for this video, and again, we decided just to do a stream. So I want to set some expectations when speaking about the possibility of an Energon Universe TV show. And so the first most important point is obviously that the TV show is not yet made. It's not in production, and it's not even purchased by a studio. I'm excited for the possibility of a show, of course, but again, I want to keep everyone's expectations in check. Of course, I don't want the show to not happen, but TV shows, they're complicated beasts that can run into a lot of issues. So we just need to remember that nothing has been made. Nothing has actually been made just yet. So the only official word on this supposed series comes from an exclusive announcement from Deadline, which I've copied all the text because Deadline's website is horrible. And I'm just going to read verbatim what that article says. It said, this is back from October of last year, Robert Kirkman's Skybound Entertainment has teamed up with Hasbro Entertainment to produce Energon Universe, an adult animated series based on the comic of the same name created by Kirkman and published by Skybound. Joe Henderson from the Lucifer TV show is attached to write an adaptation and serve as showrunner on the series, an epic crossover of G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals mythology, which is expected to be taken out to buyers shortly. So again, that's back in October. Reading back into it, despite featuring the family-friendly Hasbro characters, G.I. Joe and Transformers, the Energon Universe series will be broad with adult sensibility in the vein of Kirkman's gritty adult animated series Invincible, based on his comic, which has been a hit for Prime Video, renewed for Season 5 ahead of its Season 4 premiere next March. Again, this is back in October of last year. And then I have a note to say, deadline, your website is horrible. So the story goes on to talk about Robert Kirkman and Joe Henderson's portfolios and how the Energon universe has been doing sales-wise at the time. But past what I just read, that's the only official word. So again, I say that not to discourage people from being excited, but to just remind people that's all we have. So the show's not written, at least at the time of October 2025. The show's not made. Nobody's cast. They haven't even sold the show to a distributor. And so to explain that, Invincible is not the greatest example, but you'll have a show that's created by a studio, but then that show or movie or product, it has to be sold by a distributor. So let's say Amazon has an in-house animation studio. They make the Energon Universe show, but Amazon may not buy it. Maybe Netflix buys it, you know? Maybe this company buys it. Maybe that company buys it. So I think it's easy, especially with the big hoopla around Invincible, to think, oh, well, Kirkman's already worked with Amazon. Amazon's going to be releasing the Energon Universe show. Do I think that's most likely what's going to happen? Yeah. Just because there's already a relationship there between Skybound Entertainment, Robert Kirkman, and Amazon. So, you know, it seems like that is the most viable response that this type of show would get. So I'm going to catch up here on the comments here. Sonic saying, loved Lucifer. Excited for him to direct this. Well, remember, he wouldn't be directing it. He's the showrunner. So for shows, directors come and go often. So for a movie, obviously, a director has the main vision, Sonic. But for a show, the showrunner kind of keeps the Bible and is the main voice behind everything. Directors just normally, for the most part, just work on episode by episode. Yeah, Cody says it was showrunner, not director. I might have said director, sorry. Showrunner. Also said the second season Invincible, how animation takes a long time. Yep, it just depends on what animation house they get. I wonder how it could even operate like 2 to 3 segments per episode, maybe. I love Void Rivals, but I can't watch videos on it because it's not mainstream. But I love it so much. Void Rivals needs more recognition. I'm going to kind of speed up here. I mean, for instance, Invincible show was announced, I think, back in 2017, but they didn't start working on it until 2020, and then it came out a year later. Yeah, long time. Don't forget the VA cast. We'll get to the VA cast. We'll get to who I would like to see as who. We'll get there. No, I thought it was director. Let me look back at my thing here. It had said. It says Joe Henderson is attached to write the adaptation and serve as showrunner on the series. He may have been a director on Lucifer. I don't know, but it says here that he's serving as the showrunner and the writer for the adaptation. So no mention of him being a director. So do you think it'll focus on Energon Universe comic runs or focus more on TF? Like the article said, it says that that they're producing something called Energon Universe. And it says a crossover of G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals mythology. So the only official word that we have seems to be all three of them. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that. Not that a show can't manage 3 storylines, but there's multiple storylines within each franchise that obviously would have to be managed. Autobot Sonic says he was the showrunner for Lucifer 2. Okay, yeah. So again, for 4 now with Mask. Yeah, we'll have to see if Mask is included or not. Obviously it seems to be an adaptation, so it's not a continuation or an offshoot. So perhaps Mask is not something that they're jumping right into at the beginning when they do this show. Cody with $5. Thank you. Here's a $5 for being confusing. Apologies for that. Also, those videos. No worries, Cody. No worries at all. I have a feeling the Energon universe will be 4 separated shows with different directors. I really don't think so. 4 shows is extremely expensive. And again, with shows, you normally don't keep the same director for each episode. Directors come and go for TV shows because TV shows are long, drawn-out processes. At any point, it would be the same producer or showrunner is how that type of stuff is work. Would you prefer intertwined stories episode by episode or season by season for each run? I think for a show, it would just be smarter to do intertwined stories. I think season by season would not be good just for viewers, because you'd have people go, oh, season 1 is Transformers, great, and then season 2 comes out and it's Void Rivals, nobody watches it. Then because nobody watches it, you don't get season 3, which would be G.I. Joe. So you would have to intertwine them. It's going to be interesting to see what company picks it up. Honestly, it could be any, but I'm either thinking HBO Prime or maybe Netflix, but I don't know. We'll see. JS, remember, when it comes to what studio picks it up, the studio that picks it up is not the one that's going to be making it, just the one that's distributing it. So I like HBO. I like HBO stuff. I think they're some of the best in the game. But if they're just the distributor, they're not the ones making it. So I do agree with you, though. Whoever's making it, hopefully is a good studio behind the process of making it. I think EU show will be like Game of Thrones, where you have multiple storylines per episode. Yeah, it just makes sense for it to be that way. Again, I'm sure it's possible that, hey, this episode is maybe a little more G.I. Joe focused, or this episode is a little more Transformers focused. That makes sense, but I highly doubt they would completely split it up, because then you would really segment your viewers. And no offense to Void Rivals, of the 3 properties they seem to be focusing on for the show, Void Rivals is probably the least appealing to new customers. Any studio but Paramount. And don't forget, Paramount is in the process to buy HBO. You're right, I forgot about that. When is the earliest you'll think it come out? It's 2026. I cannot imagine it coming out anytime before 2028. Just being realistic. No way. I mean, they don't have a buyer, so they obviously have not made anything. And so even if you think of it, even if they started today making something, April 18th, 2026, there's no way it would come out anytime before 2028. I was thinking 2030 even. Maybe. I don't think that's too far off either. I was about to say no, but I forgot it's 2026. I hope each season has 26 episodes. Yeah, television has changed a lot since things have moved over to streaming. There's never really a specific amount of episodes you have to do anymore. Episodes don't need to be that 44-minute length because you have advertisers that need to drop commercials in there. You can kind of play it fast and loose, which I think for in terms of art, in terms of the artists behind the shows, that's better. I know there's a lot of people with TV shows now who get upset if an episode is like 32 minutes, but that's the artist's way of telling the story. You don't have to overextend it to where it gets boring. Just let the story tell itself. G1 season 2 with 52 episodes. Ooh, I don't know if that'll ever happen. That's a lot. Was Void Rivals considered a success? Are they likely to make new comic series a part of the universe, or are they more likely staying with the 3 for the foreseeable future? I have not heard of Void Rivals not being a success. I don't believe it's been in the top 15 comics monthly, like Transformers and G.I. Joe. That doesn't mean it's bad, though. Because there's plenty of comics not in the top 15 that sell great. I have not seen... I'm not aware of any sales charts for Void Rivals, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down, so... I don't know currently. I believe Volume 1 issues 1 through 6 did pretty well, though, sales chart-wise. You'd have to go back and look. I'm excited for Transformers Skybound series. We never get adult Transformers series since Prime. Hopefully... is on Prime Videos. Don't forget, Paw Patrol X Transformers, I'm not trying to start anything, but don't forget, we did have an adult Transformers series in the Netflix trilogy. I'm not saying it was good. I'm also not saying it was bad, but we did actually have one. We did have more, so Some people like to pretend it didn't exist, but it did, whether you like it or not. It's currently in the Quintesson War arc, and stuff is planned for Void Rivals. Yeah, Quintesson War arc is really good. I was not the hugest fan of Volume 4 of Void Rivals, but Volume 5 is really fun. I'm really enjoying it. Do you think Robert Kirkman is on some BS with Alita Prime? Brian, I'm not going to talk about Alita Prime here. I've made 2 videos now on it, and I tend to get myself in trouble when I talk about that. So I'm not saying you can't talk about it. I've said my piece on it. So there's those 2 videos to look at it. Prime was a kids show. Only shows directed to older fans were the Prime Wars and the War for Cybertron trilogies. That's correct. I hope down the line they add other characters from other continuities like what they did with the Primes. Yeah, and Bulkhead. Yeah, I think so. I think Robert Kirkman is interested in adding in more characters from outside of Generation 1. So I'm pretty sure we're going to keep seeing more. We've seen Slipstream. We've seen Bulkhead. I'm sure there's others I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head. So you're good, Ryan. No worries. You did nothing wrong. I'm taking myself out of that conversation since I've talked so much about issue 30. So you were 100% good. We're getting issue 29 this upcoming week. But yeah, I think that when the arc gets adapted, it's going to be interesting to watch on screen. I agree. Wasn't it confirmed by Kirkman that either Arachnid, Windblade, or Shadowstrike will be in the comics? He listed off a bunch of characters and said one of them was going to be in the comics. I can't remember. I forgot about War for Cybertron trilogy series. I said is mid good, not perfect, and grade 2 is. Casting original characters will be interesting given the fact that they've never had a prior voice. If this happens, I hope it's a traditional animation style, 80s retro, that'll draw the target adult audience. Yeah, it'll be interesting because I feel like you could easily do that with Transformers and Joe. That would definitely bring in that crowd. But then it would be interesting to see how they would use that style for Void Rivals. We'll have to wait and see. One thing that I am fairly certain on is that if this show is ever made, we're not going to be getting a season every year like traditional TV. No way. This is definitely going to be one of those cases where you get a season every 4 years or something, because I'm sure this will be an expensive show purely based off of the fact of the types of characters you're going to have on screen and the types of things you need them to do. Unless, everybody transforms off screen, which, I mean, we've had that before in Transformers shows, so I get it. Joe, like they're close or something. I always call it Joe. Yeah, since each series has its own art style, how do you think the art style will go? Like, will everything look like Chrono's art style, for instance, or maybe Tom Riley's instead? I personally, again, with no information, I think it'll be its own style. Chrono's art style is beautiful. I'm sure it's just not logistically possible to make a whole show off of it. I'm sure they'll go with something simple that can accommodate all 3 universes, all 3 stories, because they would probably want them to match. So I would assume it needs some unified art style. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Hope it's not CGI. High budget G1. We'll see. I mean, even you got to think, even some of the most successful TV shows that have so much money behind it, like Game of Thrones in its height, had things that it could not do because of budget, and that's just because it is TV. I'd have to look up the quote, but I believe at the height of Game of Thrones, one of the producers mentioned that there were things that they could just not do, even though they were the biggest show ever. There were things that they physically could not do, or CG things that they could not do, because it's television. Television just has a ceiling to the budget. And so to think an animated show, it's going to have an even lower ceiling to that budget. There's going to be things that they just can't do, or that they're going to have to compromise on. So I think it's important to keep that in mind too. to kind of look through the comic and go, okay, these are really cool moments. They may kind of have to simplify this or tone some of these things down. What if they made 10-minute segments like Star Wars Clone Wars animated? Maybe. Let's not discount the possibility that it could be CGI-ish like Spider-Verse or Arcane, but traditional animation would be great. Yeah. Spider-Verse, great. Arcane, great. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Paw Patrol says, where did you get... this may not be from me, actually. The first episode should start with issue 1 of Void Rivals. Not only did that issue kick off the EU, but it immediately introduces characters to casual fans. I agree. And you guys can probably explain to me. I have not watched Invincible or read Invincible, but to my knowledge, the Invincible show is close to the comic, but it makes changes to the comic, and I'm sure it compresses some of the things from the comics and cuts out maybe some things that they don't have time for in the TV show. So I would absolutely expect this, because we do know it is an adaptation. And so I'm sure they would, yeah, it's close and it makes changes. Yeah, I'm sure this adaptation, they would look through the entirety of all three and go, okay, what are we going to cut down? What are we going to have to trim? Because it has to happen with any type of adaptation. If you're going to do a 1-to-1 of 3 comics in one TV show, I feel like it's, it would take 5 seasons just to do volume 1 of each book, all combined together probably. You can probably condense the first issue of VR into probably 10 minutes of screen time and then just go into TF and Joe. Yeah. And Void Rivals is definitely the slowest story of the 3 when it starts out. And so I feel like a lot of volumes 1 and 2 of Void Rivals could be kind of compressed and truncated down to a degree. Fire 19, you're asking if there's going to be a TV show. We talked about this earlier. Last year in October, Deadline reported that Hasbro and Skybound are looking to sell a TV show. Nothing's been made. Nothing's been written. We just know that they're in the process of trying to find a studio that would distribute it. So we're kind of talking about some theories here. I can't remember if you posted about it. Do you think you'll cover more IDW, or is it too out of touch now? I don't mind covering IDW. It's just such an expansive continuity. It's almost an impossible task. I am aware that the most requested character video in the history of my channel is Tarn from IDW. There will be a Tarn video at some point. I will not promise any timeline, but there will be one. The show got rid of a lot of problematic stuff from the comics. Blame the fact that it came out in the early 2000s and early 2010s when that stuff was cool. And it's essentially a director's cut of the comic. Yeah, I expect that too from this potential show, to be kind of a trim, trim the fat. Not that anything in the comics I feel like has been a waste, but, trimming it down. Again, compressing it. Who do we expect to produce the show? We don't know. That's also unknown news. We'll just have to wait and see. Has Robert acknowledged the problem that his run felt rushed? I don't think he would say anything to that. Sorry for asking the question again, but what type of fighting style would you like to see? TFP fighting style? Bayverse, G1 Fire? I don't know. It probably won't be as stylish as Daniel Warren Johnson's. Again, just due to the cost of what that would be. What are your thoughts on Tarn as a character? You have to wait for the video. You have to wait for the video. Will they animate the EU specials because they aren't really needed, but they do kind of add some context or cool side stuff? I think the 2024 EU special is probably pretty important. I feel like they could keep that in. My theory is that they may release episodes just like how they do for each issue in the beginning, like Void Rivals, then TF, and maybe touch on Duke and CC, get into the Joe aspect. There is an entirely original episode of Invincible. It isn't just trimming stuff. Okay, interesting. Okay, so there's, well, yeah, I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying he's just going to cut back. Obviously, it's kind of a remolding. It's kind of again, a compressing. So, but I get that. I want some more pro wrestling moves like in the beginning of Daniel Warren Johnson's run. Yeah, that was definitely a Daniel Warren Johnson thing. He does that in pretty much all his comics. So I've seen people complain about the Invincible TV show since it's kind of treating the comics as a rough draft, essentially, and the show is the final draft. Do you think the same will happen with the EU? I think that we will have the same situation where the show will be a more, I don't want to say a better version, but a more refined version of the story, because it has to be, again, because of cost of making a TV show. But I would personally never look at it as rough draft versus final draft. And I, having not read Invincible or watched it, I think that's the wrong way for fans to look at it as well. Just look at it as, hey, this was the comic and this is the TV show, and they changed some things between the two. Some for better, maybe some for worse. You know? Some of the fast-paced issues could definitely fit into 10 minutes. Yeah, some issues of the comic are longer reads, and some of them are, you know, a 2-minute segment in an episode. And some of it is, hey, we're going to cut half of this issue out because it's not necessary for a show. Have you been enjoying Invincible Season 4? If that question is for me, Mason, I have not read or watched Invincible. Prime suplexing Skywarp was peak. I hope when it probably gets made, they spend half the budget on Huffer dying in 4. Is that you, Swizz? Is Swizz Prime over here talking about Huffer dying in 4K? If it's going to be the whole universe as a show and not just TF being set in the EU, then I wonder what they would call it. So we don't know an official name, but Deadline did report, they did say Skybound Entertainment has teamed up with Hasbro Entertainment to produce Energon Universe. So at least for now, Deadline just called it Energon Universe. That may not be its final name, but for the time being, that's what it has been reported. Not an Energon Universe TV show, literally Energon Universe. So, I mean, that name could work. You know, I don't think that would be a horrible choice, but so. Love Shredhead, want an original figure. Me too. We need a Shredhead figure. But those things take time too. When do you think they will introduce other Autobot commanders, basically like Autobots that are different worlds, like Hot Rod and Springer? In the comics, no idea. Hopefully the Transformers Skybound series animation is better than Invincible series. I can't comment on that. I'm sure others can. I've seen the memes. I've seen some clips. I don't know anything about that. I'm not even going to step into that conversation. Favorite episodes from Transformers Prime? It's been forever since I watched it. I would have to go back and watch it all. Prime tearing his arm off, being animated, could be the coolest thing ever if they choose the right studio. Hey, there's Nerdy. What's up, Nerdy? This is really an adult show. They better show Frosting getting turned into Cord by Starscream on screen. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's a part of the comic. It definitely happens in the comic, so I think that's definitely a very important moment. So, it's going good, Nerdy. I'm just talking about a potential show. Invincible really isn't that bad. Animation is just expensive, sadly. And to keep up with studio and audience demands, sacrifices have to be made. Yeah. Does Hasbro have a running Optimus Prime voice actor, or should we expect someone new? I don't know. It all depends. It depends on the studio making it. You know? Do you think Hot Rod and Springer will show up in the Cybertron plotline with Alita? If they're going to show up in one of the two plot lines, I would guess that it's on Cybertron. So let's go ahead and talk about voice cast. Again, we know nothing. But I'm gonna throw out a hot take here. Maybe some of you will agree with me. Some of you will probably think I'm crazy. My hot take is that if they make an Energon Universe TV show, they should not have Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. I know. Everybody's thinking I'm crazy. Now, that being said, I'm not going to complain if Peter Cullen is Optimus Prime. That being said, I think this Optimus Prime requires a younger voice that obviously Cullen cannot do right now, which is fine. I still think having him involved would be great. Obviously, Kirkman and his team have a relationship with him and Frank Welker, which is cool to see. I know they're an Invincible. And so, that being said, I also understand from a standpoint of making this show how the creators may say, well, we have to have Peter Cullen and Frank Welker since we have access to them. So I kind of understand both ways. For me personally, I think the character would be served best by somebody else. But again, if the show comes out and it's Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, I'm not going to be complaining about it. So, when it comes to voice actors for the show, I think people need to move on from Peter and Frank being Optimus and Megatron. For this show, yeah, but I still think Peter and Frank can be Optimus and Megatron when necessary. So, what about Bryan Cranston as Optimus? I still feel the voice would be a little too old. At least for me, I see him as a younger Optimus. I don't really have any fan. I'm gonna break your guys' hearts early. I don't have any fan castings because I want them to get people we're not going to be thinking of. What I would like is for us to see the voice cast and go, huh? No, absolutely not. No way. And then for us to hear it and go, oh, hey, you know what? That actually works really well. That actually works perfectly. I will say, Robert De Niro, let's get him as Skuxoid, please. You've got my money. Robert De Niro as Skuxoid. It makes perfect sense. Come on, guys. Seth Rogen should be long haul. Okay, sure, yeah. I'd like to see David Kaye as Optimus. At least the Matrix-less self. They should get someone expensive to voice Bumblebee 100%. Absolutely 100%. Absolutely. John DiMaggio as Skuxoid. Actually, you know what? John DiMaggio would be a great Skuxoid. I don't know why, but I've always kind of... Anytime I'm reading Skuxoid's dialogue, I hear it as a much deeper kind of grumbly voice. But didn't he have a raspy voice in Generation 1? I'm trying to recall. I think he had a higher tone voice. Someone will have to remind me. But I don't know. I guess I just feel him having a kind of a more guttural voice when I'm reading him. I imagine him sounding like Bender from Futurama. Okay, yeah, so we're pretty much on opposite sides, so. I was so sad when I saw Skuxoid get cut in half. Haven't started Volume 4 yet, so I don't know if he hopefully survived. You should definitely read Volume 4, Grimlock. You should definitely read Volume 4. Catch up on what's going on with him. I had the same opinion on TF1's Megatron, but I watched the movie and I'm glad to be proven wrong. Yeah. I think the people who do casting for TV shows, movies, voice actors, things like that, it is in their best interest to keep their job to cast somebody that will do well in the role, even if when we think of that person, it doesn't ring true. That doesn't mean it's always perfect, but especially for a show like this, I'm sure they'll not just be like, oh yeah, let's get this person to do this character because this person's famous. Let's get Zendaya to be Optimus Prime. Okay, come on. We're not going to. They're smarter than that. Sorry, Zendaya. Delta Trion hates Zendaya. Oh man, I can see the drama now about it. I can already feel the discord. Zendaya is Michi. I can already feel the discord rumbling beneath me about it. Zendaya is Michi. Do you think in next 4 years they will finally tell us what happened at the start of the war, like what caused it? I don't know. I mean, I would like to see it, Big Mikey, but I don't think it's at the moment where the story is. I don't think it's very important to the story being told currently. It's just not right now. But I do hope to see it within the next 4 years. I sure do hope so. Who should voice the G.I. Joe cast? I'm so uninformed when it comes to the original voices of G.I. Joe. Not that you have to follow the original voices, but I'm so unaware of what those characters have traditionally sounded like, so I have no idea. Zendaya as Celila wouldn't be bad, actually. Right, but Atomic, if they got Zendaya to play Celila, then the show definitely would just be a bunch of PNGs moving around in the background. They'd have no money past her. Will you cover the show if it releases? That's a good question. I try not to cover issues on a regular basis. I have more often been kind of doing thought videos. I did it with 30 and 31. I don't know if I would. I mean, I would cover it to some degree, but I would definitely not. I absolutely would not be uploading videos the day of new episode releases being 35 Easter eggs you missed in the Energon universe, Season 1, Episode 2. Did you know, Easter egg number 1, Optimus Prime is in this episode? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If you are in the Discord, though, then you would have seen I did make up a fake 31 Easter eggs you missed in issue 31 thumbnail that I never used. I can't stand those videos or those thumbnails. So they need to get Zendaya to voice Bumblebee. A nerdy over here with all the Bumblebee castings. Sorry to repeat, but bring back the voice of Megatron in the High Moon games, the old Buckethead in the show. Yeah, Fred, I always say his last name incorrectly. Fred T. I know somebody typed it earlier. I know I just say it wrong every time, so I call him Fred T. Gotta have the red arrow. Yes. Yeah. RFK Jr. as Soundwave with the synth filter would be hilarious. Hey, can somebody in here, we're not going to go into politics, but can somebody grab a clip of RFK Jr. and put the Soundwave synth over it? I'd just like to hear that. Tadashore. Thank you, Sonic. Fred Tadashore. I always pronounce it wrong. I do like Fred Tadashore as Megatron. I really do. He's great at what he does. He does a lot of voice work too. So a lot of great work. He's got a podcast now. Should be easy. As much as it breaks my heart, they should never cast Al Yankovic as Wreck-Gar. He's too expensive and personally prefer his G1 voice. He's in Earthspark, isn't he? Isn't Weird Al, Cosmos, and Earthspark? They could afford him there. Autobot Sonic, confirm with me. Confirm if he is in. Yeah, it's Cosmos. Yeah, they can afford him. Somehow. So, throw him in there. I'd like to see him as Duke, personally, with his Soldier 76. Oh, that's right, he is Soldier 76. Yeah. He's only in 2 episodes, though. That's how they afforded him. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Starscream voice actor from the War for Cybertron trilogy wouldn't be bad here. Who voiced him in the War for Cybertron trilogy? I did not mind Starscream in the War for Cybertron trilogy. I don't know why I'm trying to look up the actor's name. I don't know. Sam Riegel. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Brian Tyree Henry as Megs. It would be cool to have him back again, but I'm sure he's moved on to bigger things. Mel Gibson as Cup. Sure. Yeah. Sure, why not? Dave Grohl is Shredhead. Hold on a second now. Hold on a second. Even though Shredhead is supposed to be super young, Dave Grohl actually might work. Crispin Freeman should play Thundercracker. Soundwave in Cyberverse is my definitive voice for him, but he most likely couldn't be in it for being non-union. That's true. You got to think about that side of things as well. So, I don't think Brian would fit the version of Megatron they have. That's a good point. It would have to be very different. Last thing I remember Brian Henryan was Godzilla X Kong. He's been in some other stuff since then. Get Red Letter Media guys to do voice cameos. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But yeah, so anyways, the whole point of this was to kind of hopefully bring people back into a mindset of the show is not right around the corner. Again, I just saw so many people talking about the show as if, you know, it was soon. And looking back on it, it's crazy to think that we've only really had one official statement about it. And even then, in the letters section for an issue from this year, actually, somebody asked Robert Kirkman about the possibility of an Energon Universe show, and he said that he had nothing to announce or speak on. And so I think that speaks volumes to, again, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. Moonbase 3 as Derek. Hey. You guys know I love Moonbase 3. Get him in as Derek. I think Moonbase, have Swizz be Derek. Hey, Red Outlaw. Have Swizz Prime be Derek. I think he'd be better as that. Yeah, it might not even happen. To be fair, though, this is the same person from Deadline who leaked the EU a year before it got announced. So it's pretty... it's absolutely legit what Deadline said. But again, what they said is that it is being shopped around. So it could be that nobody buys it. You know, it could be that somebody tries to buy it and a deal is never made. And it just never gets made. Again, I hope it gets made. I don't want it to sound like I'm over here crossing my fingers saying, I want less Energon Universe. I want to be miserable. No. But I hope people can keep their expectations in check. With way streaming shows are done, you think we'll get we'll get a manga to anime adaptation of serialized comic book series finish, or still ongoing? No clue. Shia LaBeouf is Spike Witwicky? Nah, I don't think so. Not a chance. We'll have to see, but I wonder how they'll consolidate the styles. Obviously, they could emulate one of the many talented artists behind the comic, but they'll probably have to stick to one style. Yeah, Nerdy. I'm pretty confident that if they make the show, it's just going to be one style for all three storylines. It just makes sense, especially for workflow. Is it bad that I read General Flag's voice as Johnny Knoxville? No, I think that's pretty perfect. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. My main concern would be it ends up like the Invincible show, which at that point, they might as well just release an audiobook version of the comic. I think that'd be an entirely separate, way to do it. I think Corona style would be the best. Corona style would look the best, but if we're being realistic from a cost perspective of animation, Corona's work style probably would not work. And it's probably Corona's art style, as beautiful as it is not the widest net to cast for people to watch a TV show. You would want something that's relatively speaking simple enough and appealing to the most amount of people. You probably wouldn't want to do anything too crazy. I mean, that being said, we do have art styles that are more and more stylistic, but Corona's, I doubt they would do something like that. I know everybody says that the artist for Invincible is a part of the Invincible show, and that's why they're talking about maybe Corona being the same way. I'm not saying Corona wouldn't be a part of it, but Corona's art style, no offense, is very much more stylistic than the artist for Invincible. Is it Ryan Otley who's the artist? I always forget. No, Ryan Otley is doing a Battle Beast, I think. It's just, I think it's a technical aspect. Corona's is just is too much. Charlie Cox, a Sparkplug. I don't know about that. I'm trying to recall his English accent. His American accent. How his American accent sounds. Have Peter Cullen be Sparkplug. Which last time I said that, everybody said no, we don't want Sparkplug to sound like Optimus. Peter Cullen can speak without the Optimus Prime voice. Just have him speak normally. Ryan Otley and Corey Walker have worked on Invincible. Thank you. Thank you, Cody. Was the 40th anniversary from Studio Trigger our visual testing grounds? I don't know. I'm guessing not, because to my knowledge, I'm guessing that that's a pretty expensive endeavor. They probably emulate Jason Howard art style, says Daniel. Yeah, I don't know, but Jason Howard's style, or even the style we're seeing here on screen, I think would be a lot easier to emulate than any of the other styles we've gotten. Well, that and Mora. No offense to those artists. It's just, it would be the easiest to adapt into a TV show. Pedro Pascal is Skywarp, but specifically after he fused with Teletran. So Teletran is Pedro Pascal. Okay. My mind is thinking Matthew Lillard for some reason, but I don't know who he would voice. I just want Charlie Cox in more things. He does need to be in more things. He was in what was it? Expedition 33 though. Get a lot of him out of Expedition 33. Swizz Prime over here saying, "Man, I hate Delta Tryon. He took all my aura and swag." I don't know, Swizz. You're about to surpass me in subscribers. Your voice means more in the Skybound community than mine does. I just upload YouTube videos that get me in trouble and start drama. You're actually doing the Lord's work talking about the comic. I just like to get in trouble. Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Miles Mayhem. You know what, Sonic? That actually is probably the best one I've heard. Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Miles Mayhem would be perfect. Is the art style on screen a connecting cover from the comics? Yes, it is the 2026 connecting covers, which start coming out next month, I think. JS Productions probably knows better than I when these start releasing. Hey, Delta, have you watched Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Yes, I have. No spoilers in the chat for people who haven't. I'm loving it. It's great. I actually have my Daredevil Born Again action figure on my desk right now for some photography stuff. Loving it. If you want to talk to me about it, you can always join the server. Just saying. I hear a puppy. Yeah, when my dog started barking. He got taken downstairs to go outside. I'm just starting the original Daredevil Netflix series. Haha, I'm only halfway through Season 2. Sonic Season 2 is probably my least favorite. It's just it's so different. For the original Daredevil show, my favorites are Season 3, Season 1, Season 2. Born Again, Season 1 it's rough. But Season 2 has been a lot of fun. It's been really fun. So me and Delta watch Daredevil every Tuesday. We do. We literally text each other. As soon as the episode releases, we watch it and we immediately start texting each other about it. So yeah. Absolutely. The connecting covers released during the month of June. Thank you, JS. So yeah, the art you're seeing on here are four connecting covers that release in June. So that's Transformers, Void Rivals, G.I. Joe, and Mask. I should watch Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Defenders before watching Daredevil Season 3, though, right? You don't have to, Autobot Sonic. It's not necessary. They kind of give you a catch-up in Season 3. You can if you want, though. I don't think it's necessary, but... I went Jensen Ackles. and Jared Padalecki to voice some Transformers cameos. Who does the voice for Alita in Toy Box dubs for Skybound is generally perfect for her. Will Cyclops be in the Energon Universe TV show? Yes, Swizz. I can confirm. Breaking news first. Cyclops will be in the Energon Universe TV show. The Cyclops from the Odyssey will be in the Energon Universe TV show. Who'd you like to animate it? No idea. no idea. We will see who we get, you know. Carl Urban as Zalalak. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Wait, I don't get to be Zalalak? No. I'm trying to think of what else there is when it comes to this show. I think we've kind of talked about what we can when it comes to possibilities. Swiss says, trolling aside, I have a hot take. They should avoid celebrity casting for the Energon Universe TV show. Get some seasoned veteran VAs. I agree. I will say, Swizz, and I've said this about other things too. There is a problem with celebrity casting, but there is also another problem that when the voice casters cast somebody into a role because they are a good fit and that person also happens to be a celebrity, people immediately go, this person was only cast because they have a new name, you know, have an important name. And so it's a fine line, you know. Transformers 1, I remember when its first trailer came out, everybody said, this is horrible. Everybody in this movie was cast just because they're a celebrity. And everybody did a great job. And maybe they were cast because they were celebrities. But it seems obvious that they were also cast because they were good fits. So again, it's a fine line. But I do agree with you. Hey, Bot's Obsession here. Bro went live and didn't tell chat. Bots, I saw that you were in a voice chat with someone else. I didn't want to disturb you, man. You know, you're having a nice moment. With Quacky right there. You're having a moment with Quacky. And, as you know, are you guys still in that? Are you and Quacky are in a voice chat right now? Probably making fun of me. Man, that's so sad. Great to see you guys, though. People are saying sea salt. I'm a steak. I think it's a meme from Invincible. We can finally be bees. We can finally be bees. See, I know that one. I don't even watch the show, and I know that one. People, Delta, have you watched Invincible? Yeah, the guy says we can be bees. That's all I know about it. I have a base knowledge of Invincible. I'm just gonna let the chat. All right, guys, get it out of your system. My goodness. All stuff that I don't understand. I still get asked that on a weekly basis. How come you hate Invincible? I don't hate Invincible, I just haven't read it. Oh, well, why don't you read it? Because I've got like 70 other titles on my reading list. Yeah, thanks, Swizz. Look what you did. Thanks, Swizz. Who's your favorite Transformer? I have a video on it. It's Depth Charge from Beast Wars. He got a whole dedicated video just to himself. Did you know that Frank Welker and Peter Cullen were both in the show? Yep, I knew that. Again, I'm aware of what's happening with Invincible, what goes on. I just don't watch the show, and I haven't read the comic. So, but I use the internet, so you know I know what's going on. Talk about the show? I don't know anything about the show, so. I'm going to buy the new Invincible Omnibus with Spider-Man crossover in it. Oh, I didn't know. There's a Spider-Man crossover with Invincible? Is that just the cover, or is there like an actual crossover issue? Interesting. Swizz asks, can I voice Cliff Jumper in the show? No, Swizz, we've cast you as Bumblebee. We still need to get you to watch Cyberworld this week. I'm pretty sure that's already scheduled. We may have to reschedule that. There is an official, Delta Tryon watch party for Cyberworld happening. I may have to reschedule it, but that's happening in the server. Do you not think it's early for a TV show? It probably won't be made till around 2030. Again, as we've been saying, nobody's bought the show yet. It's not in production yet, so we've got probably a good 3-4 more years until something like that happens. I feel bad about watching Invincible just for Peter and Frank, but eventually I'll check it out. Yeah, no, that's fine. Who would you like to animate the show? Again, no idea. I want Swizz Prime to animate the show. That's who. Kirkman worked for Marvel and wrote a Marvel team-up issue with Invincible in it, but when the Invincible show did the crossover, they had to create a whole new character, Agent Spider. Oh, that makes sense. Which volume comic should they end season 1 on? I won't say which comic because I truly believe that the show would have to be a mix of all 3 comics. What it should end on, I have no clue. It just depends on what they decide to keep, what they decide to cut, and how fast they're going through those stories. I reckon the Energon universe should have a bit of voice actor reset for the Transformers. Not sure if they should necessarily bring back actors just because they've played the characters before. I agree. It's like I was saying earlier, I don't necessarily think Peter Cullen should be this Optimus Prime. Delta should animate the show. Yeah, nerdy. I'm going to animate the show. I sent a picture of the issue in the Discord, Delta. What issue? What am I? I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is right there. I see it. Thank you, Phoenix. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Spider-Man meets Invincible. That's cool. Neat. Cool. I assume the first season ending would be the official creation of G.I. Joe and Cobra. Might be. The show would start right at right at the events of issue 30. I'm sure everyone would love that. Swizz, don't start this. Don't start that, Swizz. I would prefer the shift to animation for the Transformers universe rather than live action, where they mostly focus on humans. How do you feel about Transformers animated? Transformers animated is great. Last stream we did, King Prime, was me ranking the Transformers shows I've watched. You should go back and at least go to the end of that stream. You can see my official rankings for the shows I have watched. I did not rank shows I did not watch, obviously. What would you want to change in the TV adaptation, specifically with Transformers side story, or would you like the story to stay loyal to the comics? If it's an adaptation, I don't need it to stay 100% loyal. I don't. An adaptation should be allowed to adapt in the ways that it needs to, and so it would be interesting to see how they take what was done in the comics and change it to fit the TV landscape. And to fit that format. So, but there's nothing off the top of my head that I would be like, oh, they got to change this. Or, oh, if they touch this, I would be upset. You know, it's Donald Glover as Cliff Jumper, only because Danny Pudi was probably on Earthspark. Well, you never know. I would want the combiners to have every VA for the members voice it. Play them over each other, and then add an echoey effect. That would be a cool idea. We need a ballpoint cameo. Yeah, what if we just don't do the Energon Universe show and just do a ballpoint show? Much better. If they have to cut stuff for pacing or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, yeah. Again, adaptation, I'm sure it'll be, like I said, compressed. I wish it was just a Transformers show because I'm selfish and greedy for car robots. I don't think you're alone. I don't think you're alone at all, Swizz. I think... Obviously, here on this channel, it's mainly Transformers focused, but I think even still, in the broader sense of the people who would be watching an Energon Universe show, there's still a ton of G.I. Joe fans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to underservice them. I think there would still be more Transformers fans that would prefer just Transformers and not G.I. Joe and not Void Rivals. Again, not discounting the G.I. Joe community and their need for a TV show and content as well. But, hey, let me tell you something, Red. Swizz over here going full Punisher mode. Which Daredevil and Punisher argument is your favorite? The one from Born Again Season 1. It really is. It's the best stuff in that season, and it's their best moments together. What is one scene that you want them to get right? 100% for me, it has to be get the deer scene right, because that scene radiates through the entire Danny Warren Johnson run of the Skybound Transformers. I agree. The deer scene, and then also for me, Spike's chat with Optimus about the sunrise. But that's also because that's my favorite issue, so. Favorite issue. Hope they nail the Hound and Clutch dynamic. Yeah, the Hound and Clutch dynamic in G.I. Joe is absolutely amazing. It's great. I have a horrible feeling that Lorenzo might try to butt his head into the project and make life hell for Kirkman. Who knows? Possible. Maybe not possible. Adaptions definitely don't got to be one-to-one. Daredevil Born Again makes a ton of deviations from the comic arc. Same name, still awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine the arm scene from episode 4 in animation? Yeah. Maybe, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but Danny Warren Johnson's original idea was that he would take Skywarp's head and rip it out and use his spine as like a mason chain, which is similar to what he did in Wonder Woman Dead Earth. Maybe they bring that back. Probably not, because then you have to have Skywarp be attached to Teletran. So that's probably why that may not work as well. But you never know. You never know. They make me interested in G.I. Joe. Haven't read the Skybound comics. I'm not opposed to that happening. I would highly recommend Dash reading the G.I. Joe Skybound comics. They're really fun. I did not care about G.I. Joe. I did not. And I was probably a year into Transformers Skybound. I said, yeah, you know what? Let me read G.I. Joe. It's a fun time. It's a really fun comic. A lot of people say, oh, it's just military propaganda. It's really not. It's Transformers. Characters with goofy names and cool abilities going around saving the day. It is the most consistent comic in the Energon universe right now, G.I. Joe. It's a fun time. But I will also say you're not punished for not reading it. And that's what has been good about the Energon universe. If you're just reading one title, the writers are not punishing you for not knowing what's going on. So, Delta, if Skywarp is dead, how would we ever get Freaky Warp? We'll always get Freaky Warp. What I want for the Time Optimus is Megatron's arm to use the mace weapon. I think it'd be really cool. Quacky wants to know, what are my thoughts on Sea Spray? I love Sea Spray. I have the toy on my shelf. I actually have another audiobook that I'm writing about Sea Spray. It's not the next audiobook that's going to come out. We did Optimus, and we did Power Glide. Sea Spray is on the list, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Bots wants to know thoughts on GoBots. Go watch the GoBots video. Go watch the GoBots video, and I can't believe Ron Bonjohn did not let me be in his GoBots video. He betrayed me. Is Paramount actually involved in the TV show? Do we know for sure? Dash, we do not know. Nobody has purchased the show. We just know that Hasbro and Skybound are the ones trying to pitch the show. If the deer scene is your favorite TF moment, what's your favorite Joe and VR moment? That's a good question to ask people. It's a good question. Quintesson War and Dreadnought War going on at the same time would rock the TV world. That would be really cool. Speaking for Shelf, 2026 Shelf tour when? I do need to do a 2026 office tour. It'll happen this year. Delta, please not another audiobook. I'm out of tears. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate everybody who... I really do, joking aside, I really do appreciate everybody who tunes in for the audiobooks. They obviously do a lot. They have a lot less traction on the channel, but they really are the videos that I am the most proud of here on the channel. So there is another one I need to wrap it up with the wonderful artist Cheesy. But yeah, it'll probably be the longest one we've done. But yeah, I need to work on it some more. So. I really enjoy the audiobooks. They help me wind down. Thank you. Power Glide one had me in tears on Christmas. That's right. It did come out right around Christmas. It was supposed to be a Thanksgiving release, but we just didn't make it in time. So it was around Christmas. Yeah. Any clues on the character for the next audiobooks? Yes. The next audiobook will feature multiple characters, multiple Transformers. Two of them, one of them is red, and the other one has red on them. I'll say it that way. One of them is red, like this character's red, and then the other one has some red on them, if you're going by their Generation 1 designs, of course. Delta forced me to get an iPad. He's not a good man. It's true, I'm not. For me personally, favorite VR moment so far is probably Proximus versus Springer, and Joe moment would have to be Duke meeting Optimus, or Cobra Commander ripping out Ripper's throat. Those are some really good choices. Really good choices. People saying Sideswipe. I'm getting Swerve vibes. Optimus Prime and Optimus Prime. Got it. Nerdy got it. The slightest idea how little that narrows it down. I know how little that narrows it down. I know. But it's not. The story's not ready yet. Cheesy's read it. I'll tell you that. Cheesy Cryptid's read the story, but it's not ready for art yet. Yeah, to quote Batman Beyond. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So we're getting a question here. If Jazz is really with Alita, Kirkman really needs to cook up a good excuse for why he's with her and not make him a background troop. I did a poll on the channel. Let's actually, you know what? Let me actually pull that up. Let me run over real quick and see the poll. We're going to get to the Jazz thing, I promise. Let me get a screenshot of the poll so that we can kind of discuss, because I'm personally really surprised some of the answers we got on here. Let me add this into OBS here real quick. Okay. Okay, it's a little too big here. Yeah, we're just going to put this in the middle. Okay, so we did this poll on the channel about Jazz. Swizz says, oh boy, here we go. Swizz, you're probably going to want to close your ears for this one. Stop watching stream. Quack says, Delta, can I voice Solar Storm? Grapple run in an audiobook. Yes, Quacky, you got the role. Okay, so we did this. I did this poll, and I'm honestly really surprised by people's voting here. So we're almost at 3,000 votes, which is very surprising. Because I was confident that the vast majority of readers of this comic were angry that Jazz left for Cybertron. And the reason that they believe that was because A, he's not in the final shot of issue 30 where we see Optimus and his team, and then B, they believed, if you're looking here on screen, this third option, this third image, they believe that to be Jazz walking away. Those are 58% in denial. So many people have so many different opinions on this. Which is great. I think that's a good thing that there's a conversation here. Me personally, I'll tell you personally, I'm on this third camp. Unsure, too early to say. He's not shown on Earth, but he's also not shown leaving for Cybertron. So, for me, I cannot say one or the other. I can't. But I can understand why people think he did leave. Absolutely. I can absolutely understand that. Yeah. I'm just not willing to say one way or the other because I have not seen him on Cybertron. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, but that third image, that's obviously him. I don't know. It's a guy in shadows. Oh, but he's got the ears. Yeah. Blaster also has ears. This character, yeah, who knows? So, there was a preview for issue 32, and he clearly wasn't seen there either. That is correct, but we also haven't seen all of issue 32. So until we get a concrete answer from the comics, I can't say. But I am surprised that there were so many votes of people saying that he stayed on Earth. The car doors, Delta. Stop cut. What car doors? What car doors? Let me zoom this in here. This is what people are using as their evidence for Jazz leaving. What? What car doors? All I see is a shadow. What if that's a character with his arm up? Well, I don't know. Third image low-key looks like Cyclonus. Yeah, that's Cyclonus, bro. You see the car door? All I see is a head and something else. You know what the problem is? The problem is, if it is true that Jazz did go to Cybertron, Swizz is going to be like, see, I told you I was right. Why didn't you believe me? I'm like, it's not that I didn't believe you. It's that I didn't have enough evidence. And Swizz is going to say, I gave you evidence. I'm like, no, not concrete evidence. Does Jazz have the door wings in Skybound? He does, yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Is that not a missile on his shoulder? See, this is the thing. It's just a silhouette. Boxing match soon? Yeah, Swizz and I are having a boxing match. Yeah. Do you think Optimus giving away the Matrix is going to do something with his relationship with Spike? Optimus did not give away the Matrix. He let the Matrix decide who the next bearer would be. I think that's something that a lot of people keep bringing up. Oh, Optimus gave away the Matrix. The Matrix chose. But again, I already talked about issue 30. I don't want to get too much into issue 30. But yeah, safe to say, very surprised by the by what we got off of this poll. Very, 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 very surprised. Very. Who would you cast as Megatron? Swizz. I would cast Swizz Prime as Megatron. Absolutely. I think Swizz would do a great... I think he does a great Megatron voice as is. The other silhouette in the sneak peek that looks like Jazz, but I don't think he has door wings. Yeah. Who knows? Again, who knows? But again, I asked for people's opinions, so I'm not trying to say people should not give their opinions. I'm just saying that for me personally, I have no clue. There's no evidence one way or the other, really. I am excited to know, though. I'm excited to know if Jazz did go back to Cybertron, then why? You know what? I think Swizz has this theory he's been telling me about. Swizz Prime has this theory that Jazz is a spy for Optimus, that he's spying on Alita. I wonder if that's what's happening. Swizz is saying no in the chat, but he actually means yes. I'm pretty sure Jazz is a spy for Optimus. He's spying on Alita. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Keith David is anyone. I'm the spy, Jazz. Keith David would be cool to have in the series as well. Yeah, absolutely. Quacky's saying that would be interesting, Swizz. Thank you for that theory, Swizz. That theory stinks. Swizz, explain to me why that theory stinks. Please. Please hop in and explain to me why that theory stinks. Pete Davidson as Mirage again. No, I'm good. We don't need Pete Davidson in the show. Stephen Yun as Silverbolt. It will be interesting to see what they do with Jazz. I think they've given him some great moments. And I was thinking about making a Jazz video, kind of talking through it all. But again, I think the natural conclusion of a discussion like that would only lead to the question of, did he leave or did he stay on Cybertron? And I don't really know if there's much merit in making a video entirely based off of that. The evil Optimus has Jazz spy on Alita Prime. Lee Pace says Megatron. Hold on a second, King Prime. You might be cooking there. You might be cooking there. That might be a good idea. Wait a second. I hope Kirkman introduces transit on Cybertron. I can't think of much more that we can discuss when it comes to, you know, the potentials of an Energon Universe show. I think we brought up Mask earlier. Obviously, when the show was announced, Mask had not yet been announced. But even then, I can't imagine when they adapt the show, Mask would be introduced immediately. I feel like Mask's introduction works because it's 3 years into the story. So I think Blastoff needs to sound posh and the ever slightest bit fruity. Okay, that's definitely a very specific choice. Clancy Brown Megatron remains the coldest fan cast for this. The coolest, they're saying the coldest. I want closure on the cat in issue 15 or a riot. Didn't they mention that the cat shows up somewhere else in another issue? I have to go back and look. Say something in your Redditor voice, literally just cuz. No, we're not going to do that on stream. That's a Discord server exclusive. Heisenberg is Optimus Prime, please. Swizz, you're too late to the punch. Somebody said that like an hour ago. You're washed, Swizz. I'm sorry. I think Miles Mayhem has a bombastic southern drawl. Who was it? Sonic, you said, Autobot Sonic said Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Miles Mayhem. I think that would work. Never late. Maybe the G.I. Joe issue talked about what happened to Starscream. Maybe. Swizz Prime called me washed. Yeah, Swizz, you and I are both washed. We're on a podcast called the Teletran Tapes. You think we're not washed? By the way, guys, if you're not listening to Teletran Tapes, it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We do monthly episodes. We just talk about Transformers right now. We don't have the time to talk about the other Energon Universe titles, but it's a fun time. You guys should listen in, leave some comments on YouTube, or listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify like I do while you're driving around. Love the Teletran Tapes. Thank you, Cody. Thank you. Delta Redditor voice as Perceptor. Well, he hasn't been in the comics just yet. Guys, our episodes are super short. Yeah, that's a good point, Swizz. Something we don't talk about is our episodes kept getting longer and longer. We were getting close to 3-hour-long episodes, and we were getting really worried. And then issue 31, we recorded the podcast for. And thankfully, it was like, an hour and 17 minutes or something. So we try and keep them as short as possible. We just always get into so many arguments during it. Teletran Tapes rocks. Thank you, Atomic. Thank you. Michael Stevens Vsauce as Perceptor. That would be funny. Yeah, I mean, the long episodes are good too. Yeah. Why is it that when I'm not in town, or that I'm not in one, it was a super short episode? We were just all succinct. We were all on the same page for it. Issue 31 was also a very quick read, so there was really not many breaks to the story necessarily. When do you think they get Hot Rod in the mix of the Transformers series? I think it'll be a little while. I think it would be best for them to add him and Hot Rod to the Cybertron storyline. I don't think it would be... I mean, it could work if they go to Earth, but I think they would be better served on Cybertron. But I don't think it's going to be happening in issue 32. And we know that the focus is still Earth, but that we're going to be checking in on Cybertron once in a while. So I think, logistically speaking, it'll be a little while till we see Hot Rod in spring. Or, who knows, maybe the end of issue 32 they show up and it's kind of a cliffhanger ending. Quacky Wacky says, I think I should voice every character in the Skybound show. Quacky, go ahead and message me on Discord. If you record every single voice line, every single line of dialogue that is said in the comics, I will put together an audiobook style video where you voice every character. I promise you. It's a done deal. It's here, live on YouTube for everyone to see our handshake deal. But you have to send me all the dialogue. So, do you think there is a chance that Danny Warren Johnson would be involved in the show? I do not think so. And I'm not saying that because I don't want him. I'm saying that just because Danny Warren Johnson, he did his run on Transformers. He wanted to do 24 issues. He said that he really did work himself maybe over the limit with 24 issues. And then he had a fun time, but he's moved on. And so I don't see him coming back. Not in a bad way. He's an artist in the sense that he obviously wants to always do something new. And so working on a show seems like a lot for him. Now, for someone like Kirkman, who was much more in tune with that lifestyle of making art, I think that's kind of his style. But Johnson, no. Bob Obsession says, Quacky cut Skybound issue 1. I'll do it. Skuxoid has the most screen time in the show. Yeah, absolutely, Skuxoid. Danny Warren Johnson made peak and dipped. Yeah, Johnson. I think his stories are best when they are short and succinct. Transformers was his longest writing credit on a comic, and I think it's easy to tell that he was being stretched thin, not by anybody but by himself for such a long story. But he wasn't doing the art, so he was able to obviously put the story together and hand it off to the artist. But still, that's why he had Quacky just messaged me on Discord. That's why he had The Moon Is Following Us coming out at the same time too. He is cooking with Duo Powerbomb Black and White, which I'm still in shock that happened. Yeah, it'll be cool to have Duo Powerbomb back on shelves in black and white. And we'll have to wait and see what his next comic is that he's working with Riley Rossmo. Very excited. I don't know if we'll see it this year or not. Maybe by the end of the year. Who knows? Skuxoid as main character, front of the poster, face on the thumbnail, the whole 9 yards. I never did make my Skuxoid. You know what? I did write a Skuxoid video, and I had a guest, another Transformers creator, record something for me, and I never put that video together. Now I feel really bad for never making that video because I have that creator's audio file. I really need to put that together. Wonder how they're going to fit Void Rivals, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. Yeah, we were talking about that, Monster Boy. How are they going to fit all 3 of those into one show? Doesn't Transformers Book 2 come out May 18th or 19th? It comes out not this next week. Oh, there you go. 29th. Yeah, so it's month. So April 29th, and then the last week of May is I think it's Void Rivals. Yeah, and then the last week of June, I believe, is the G.I. Joe book. So 3 months in a row we're getting all the next books. He has a family. Skuxoid does have a family. That's what makes him great. It makes him a family man. Are we ever going to get a compendium for Transformers Skybound? I bet you we are, King Prime. There's no word on it, but Image Comics is really good at releasing trade paperback compendiums for their series. But they normally do like 50 issues. So you're probably going to have to wait quite a while. Because I think the Saga Compendium 1 is 50 issues, or it might be 40 issues, because their hardcovers, I believe, do 15 issues. Every 15 issues is a hardcover, and then Compendium 1 is 40 or 50 issues. I can't remember. So I'm fairly confident we will get a compendium for Skybound. It makes sense. It's such a well-selling comic. Another format would be a no-brainer. I mean, absolutely. Not Your Dog from Quick Trip cameo when? It's coming next stream. Do you think putting Mask in Energon Universe is a good idea? I think it's fine. I'm excited to read another comic. The reason it doesn't bug me, or I don't think that it's a bad idea, is the fact that you can still currently read one Energon Universe title and like I always say, not be punished for not reading the others. You gain more by reading the others, but you're not punished for not knowing what's going on, even in the crossovers. So, you know. Ghost Energy tier list when? We'll do it right now, Swizz. Just for you. Let me pull up a tier list maker. And no, I don't have a subscription to the website. I'm not going to. Let's see if they already have one. Ghost Energy. Ghost Energy drink. Yeah, Ghost Energy drink. Here we go. I'll do it for you, Swizz. You just had to ask, bro. You just had to ask. Okay, let's let me see. How am I gonna do this? I gotta because I gotta have chat up at the same time. I'm working on it, guys. I promise. Swizz asked. But this doesn't have all the Ghost Energy flavors on it. Actually, there's some missing. Ooh, there's some missing though. The best Ghost Energy was the raspberry one that they just got rid of. The raspberry cream one, that was the best. Swizz. The Sour Patch ones were good. Delta, we will do it next time on Teletrain Tapes. Okay. Okay. That's a deal, Swizz. We'll do that next time. Don't even try. I didn't even try it. Dude, I'm so sorry. It was so good. It really was the best. I'm still looking for it, like old ones. The new blue raspberry one is not good. Don't try it. It's straight up chemicals. What is Ghost Energy? It's just an energy drink. Swizz and I just like to energy drink it up. Thoughts on if they bring back Bumblebee in future issues? I feel like with his death allowed for newer important storylines to take place, and bringing him back might do more harm than good. Okay, so on the concept of bringing Bumblebee back, this is a tough one. First, what I want to make very clear is I do not think that bringing a character back from the dead automatically cheapens their death. It can, but it doesn't automatically do that. Comics bring characters back all the time, and bringing one back does not immediately mean, oh, well, the way they handled his death is ruined. If they brought Bumblebee back next issue, I would not go back to Daniel Warren Johnson's story and go, hey, actually, this is now bad because they brought Bumblebee back. No. That being said, I wouldn't mind if Bumblebee got brought back at this point. I think enough time has passed. I feel like that storyline with Optimus and Bumblebee has been maybe not resolved, but completed. It's kind of a closed circuit. Daniel Warren Johnson said what he wanted to say, and obviously Bumblebee has been taken off of Earth. That being said, I think that they could just do other interesting things than just bring Bumblebee back right now. I think the longer they can wait, the better, but I do think they're at a point where if they brought him back, I wouldn't be upset. And I don't think that it would undo what Daniel Warren Johnson did. I really don't. There's some people who think that. I just don't agree with that. That's fine. It's Goldbug time. Goatbug. Sure. Goldbug is just Bumblebee Gold. That's all. Need more of Shredhead. We do need more of Shredhead. There's some variant covers coming up with more Shredhead. There's some more variant covers coming up. If they ever do bring back Bumblebee, I hope he's like the most serious character besides Optimus and Megatron, like the Last Ronin level. I still need to read the Last Ronin. We are getting a Goldfire figure next year. Just saying. That is true. I wonder why Bulkhead looks so much like his legacy design. Brand synergy. Just like with spoilers, issue 31 having Megatronus in it. Hasbro's a toy company, so they want brand synergy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm fine with that too. I see a character in the comic, I want a toy on my shelf. I'm a consumer. I would honestly wait till maybe issue 60 or 70 to maybe say enough time has passed to bring back Bumblebee. I can see that. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since his death. And I agree with you. The longer they wait, I think the better. But I don't think, again, I vehemently do not believe that the act of bringing him back automatically undoes Daniel Warren Johnson's story with him. They could possibly undo Daniel Warren Johnson's story the way they choose to do it, but the concept of bringing him back is not what would ruin it. It would be the execution. Still think it would be sick for Prime to wield Shredhead's sword. Like on some He-Man energy. That would be cool. But Shredhead is already kind of like He-Man, is he not? I want Megatronus, but I'm currently raising money because everything a certain someone is doing. Megatronus is a fun figure. Megatronus is a very fun figure. I honestly hope the look for Megatron isn't Galvatron, but a new design. I agree. I said in my issue 31 video that I hope it was not Galvatron, and immediately started getting a bunch of comments like, why does Delta hate Galvatron? I don't hate Galvatron. I just don't. I think they could hold off on using the design for now. Or make Galvatron a separate character. Or do something different. You know? It's its own continuity. Try something new. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows? Bumblebee brought back by the Matrix, but is now loyal to Alita, and her mindset philosophy would be very interesting. That would be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people would hate it, but that would be a very interesting storyline to pull on. Delta, are you excited for Jason Howard to take the art mantle going forward? I like Jason Howard's art. I really do. The issue 32 previews have some interesting faces in them. But I like Jason Howard's art. So yeah, it's stylized. It's very cartoony and stylized. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Someone who loves Galvatron, it wouldn't make sense here. I agree. I don't think Galvatron is... I don't think it would be a good idea to have at least even his design pop in yet. It's too soon for Galvatron? Yeah. I have the leader class, Megatronus, and he's a certified chonker. He is. I have mine in storage right now, but he is really fun. I was thinking about selling him in my other primes, but as soon as he showed up in the comics, I was like, okay. But now I need to get SS86 Megatron to have a Megatron to go with him. Jason Howard hurts me with how skinny he makes them. So again, Jason Howard has a very specific art style, and so I can understand. There's some times I look at it and I'm like, interesting. But Swizz is right. Howard will improve as he goes, as he learns these characters more and more. Because keep in mind, while we don't know the exact timeline of these comics, when they're being written by who, I think it's safe to say that Jason Howard has not drawn every single one of his Transformers issues, and he's done. He's still obviously drawing, again, ahead of the curve, but he's still drawing and learning these characters as well. So Swizz says he likes his style. He's hyped. I want more Beachcomber. I want him to dip his hand in the pool and get the cheese touch. What aspects of Spike and Optimus's relationship do you think should be explored in future issues? I don't know, Ish Girl. I don't know. I truly believed for a little while that they were kind of phasing Spike out of the story. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Hasbro has priced me out. I'm a full-time Blockies collector. I 100% understand. I understand that. I understand that. I like Howard's variants. Yeah, I really did like Howard's work on issues 13 and 14. I thought they were really, really fun. Do you have any Masterpiece figures? No, I don't have the money for that. I don't have the patience for those figures either. A little thicker every issue. Yes, Bill is right. Every issue, Jason Howard will draw them thicker to the point where we'll finally get Diaper Megatron back again. Diaper Megatron. We got to get him back. Mora was the same. It's not unexpected for the artist to have a learning curve with the character designs. Yep. I want Chip from G1. You know, that is a good point. They're bringing in, what's his name? Dr. Archvile, whatever his name is. Where's Chip? First reaction to Megatron eating Trailbreaker. First reaction was, ooh, yummy. Crunchy. Tasty. Made me thirsty. First, blue Gatorade. The cheapest I was able to get 86 Soundwave was for $75. My goodness. I still never saw 86 Soundwave or Megatron in stores. I don't really want the Target Megatron with the battle damage. But I'm scared at this point. They're just too expensive online. Maybe they're still cheapish, but I do need to get those. Archiville. Oh, okay. Archiville. Thank you. Also, where's Omega Supreme? Like, did everyone just kind of try not to look deeper into that whole thing after Chicago, or what? I don't know. We've only had 5 issues, really. But I am also interested in Omega Supreme, where he's gone. Who knows? I'm excited to see. Omega Supreme is a Transformers character that I've always wanted a toy of, but they're just all so expensive. They did the reissue of what was it, Siege Omega Supreme, and I wanted to get it so bad, but it costs money. Money's hard to come by. Commander Class in Toys R Us is $160 where I'm in. Ouch. Bro, you still yapping? I'm always yapping. You know that. Soundwave backstory, please. But yeah, no, Omega Supreme has always been I know they make some chibi Omega Supremes, which those are fun, or some Legends class ones. But part of me also wants the official Hasbro one to put it with my Autobot shelf. But he's also so big he wouldn't fit in the shelf. So, deluxe class Omega Supreme when? Hasbro, please. I probably just need to get a New Age or a Magic Square version and have a little Omega Supreme on the desk. That can work too. Or even a KO one. Who knows? I'm sure Blocky's Galaxy version will do Omega Supreme. Oh yeah, you're right. What's going on, man? Boygania, you're right. I forgot that they're doing all the city guys. They've done Triptychon. They did Metroplex. They're doing they got another one coming out, don't they? You're right. How come they haven't done Omega Supreme? I'll just get the Blockies Omega Supreme when he comes out. Yeah. We should get a Voyager class Darkwing for the TF1 line. Who knows? Do you think there's a legitimacy of Thundercracker becoming Superion's arm like people think? I don't know, Cody. I don't hate the idea. I just hate the fact that it's always brought up. But you're good. Who knows? Who knows? What exactly have we been discussing about the show? May I get a recap since I showed up late? Sure. I mainly was just reminding people that the show has not been confirmed to exist. Well, sorry, to have been made. The only official news we got was that Hasbro and Skybound were shopping around to see what distributor was interested in buying the show. There's been no scripts, and this was back from October of last year. There's been no scripts. There's no animation studio confirmed. There's no voice cast confirmed. And so we were kind of just going through the fact that all we know is that in October, Skybound and Hasbro were shopping around to see what studio would buy the distributing rights for it. And that currently the show is just called Energon Universe, and that it would contain Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals. And then we kind of went off into theory time, and talked about some theories, some voice cast and things like that. But it was also a kind of a way to bring people back in, because there's been a lot of people questioning how come we haven't had a trailer or anything like that. So yapping of the possibilities. Yeah, absolutely. You listen to any songs while reading Energon? I love listening to Linkin Park and Cities and Dust. I do not listen to any music while reading comics. Absolutely not. It would distract me, and I would get off topic when reading the comics. What do you think about Jake Fushi coming back for Optimus? Man, that's a tough one. I think a lot of people dislike Jake Fushi as Optimus because of his portrayal of him in the War for Cybertron trilogy. I think there's a lot of issues there. The scripts are not good, in my opinion. I think Jake Fushi does a fine Optimus. If you listen to his voice lines in, what is it, Smite? Like Smite or Smite 2 had an Optimus Prime collab. And Fushi did a great job. I just think that the material he has read for outside of that, the majority of the material he's read as Optimus Prime has not been good. And so it's really hard for me to hear Jake Fushi doing Optimus in a way that I personally like. So it's nothing against his talent. It's completely against the material that he has been given. So it's hard for me to think of him as Optimus. I watch shows while reading comics. I think I might have ADHD. Do you watch Subway Surfers when you watch my videos, Swizz? Is that what this is about? Would be a dream if they adapted Denny Warren Johnson Chrono's art style to the animation show. Yeah, it would be cool, but I think realistically speaking, it would just be too expensive and too hard. They'll probably go for a basic animation. Scorponok is the Titan that will be in the next Blocky's wave. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll talk about Blocky's here in a second. Cyberverse also wasn't bad. I think he just needs time to improve. Yeah, I enjoyed Cyberverse. Cyberverse was a fun time. Swizz says yes, he does watch Subway Surfers while he's watching my videos. What's going on, Dave the Dodo? I like Jake in Cyberverse. He hit his stride there, okay. Siege and Onward was really rough. I blame the voice directions, though. I'll elaborate in a second. No, I think we're all pretty in line with what happened with Siege. Delta, I say this with zero irony. Everything you said about Jake as Optimus Prime is the same stuff I hear about Sonic characters and their voice direction. I can't speak to that, but I know that you're on top of that, Salt. So, have you seen the latest Invincible episode? If you watched it, I love seeing your familiar voices. I know who's in. I know Peter Cullen and Frank Welker in it. Bogonia, just to let you know, I have not read or watched Invincible. So, but I am aware of what happens in the show. I see the memes. I'm on the internet, so, but I have not sat down to watch it or read it. I may get the compendium at some point, but my list of comics to read is quite long right now, so. How would you feel if the Skybound show was a 3D animated with a comic style? That would be cool. I think that would be pretty expensive, though. So, the only thing I remember about Cyberverse was the third season of Autobots and Decepticons working together in Volcanicus Combiner. Cyberverse was a fun show. It was a very, and I don't say this lightly, it was a very fan service heavy show, which can be bad, but I feel like for the tone it was going for, it did it well. The first season, where it was mainly Bumblebee and Windblade, I didn't care much for, but I think as time went on, it kind of served as a, hey, this show is kind of for the fans. And so I really appreciated it for that. How far in till we think Dinobots will be made into the comics? Will they use the G1 designs or more modern dinosaur looks? I'm thinking next year. Thinking next year for them. But you never know. Kirkman could just have him show up. Was Cyberverse before or after War for Cybertron? I think I misremembered. I actually don't remember either. I don't know. I don't remember the timelines. Not Energon universe related, but have you checked out Absolute Batman? I have. I read the first 6 issues of Absolute Batman. I had a fun time. I just have not returned to it yet. I've read Absolute Martian Manhunter and absolutely loved the first volume of that, and I'm waiting for volume 2 to come out, which I think comes out in August. I'm aware that Absolute Martian Manhunter ends at issue 12, but that the creators were invited to come back whenever they can, so hopefully we'll get more of that. And it is on my list to read Absolute Wonder Woman. Those are the 3 that have interested me so far. Why you don't want to watch PNGs dragged across the screen for hours? Again, I can't speak to the Invincible show. I can't speak on. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the memes. So, MCU blockies are good too. Recently bought the Wolverine one. And it's great. Oh, the larger ones. I thought, yes, the Champion, Classic Class, whatever they're called. Yeah, they look really fun. I do plan on Atomic Prime 86. I do plan on getting the blockies Marvel Rivals Moon Knight when it comes out. I saw the Marvel Legends Moon Knight. I'm not paying Marvel Legends deluxe price for a Moon Knight just because he comes with a big cape. Not a chance. I'll get the Blockies one. Thank you very much. I think the Netflix directors wanted Peter without hiring Peter, and they wanted Jake to sound really dark and brooding. So it led to the poor guy in this janky, unconfused direction. I truly believe, Rock, that if someone were to take the time, and this would be a huge task, to go through the War for Cybertron Siege trilogy and just redo the voice lines of every character. Again, I say that like it's a simple thing. I feel like it could be better. I think a big issue of that is the voice direction for it. I'm not saying that would fix the story, no, but I think it would be easier to watch. But again, that'd be a huge, thing for a fan to do. So I am interested in Absolute Green Arrow, which is billed as Green Arrow meets Scream. Michael Myers, interesting. Did someone say Marvel Rivals? Yeah, I said Marvel Rivals Swizz. No, I won't play it with you. Sonic's VA, Roger Craig Smith has voiced in TF a handful of times. If only they had him as Blur. Yeah, didn't Roger Craig Smith, didn't he do, don't tell me, in Cybertron, was he not in Cybertron as, I'm blanking on Landmine? Was he Landmine? No, that's Drummond. That's that guy's name is Drummond. Didn't Drummond also Salt? Tell me, I've forgotten. I've forgotten Salt. There's a voice actor whose last name is Drummond that I'm pretty sure was Landmine in Cybertron, and I think he was in some of the Sonic games. I don't know. I know Salt is furiously typing out right now, so. No, he's Breakdown in Scorponok and Earthspark. Oh my god, I don't. Yeah, there's somebody. How many seasons? How many seasons would we be in the show by now? For the comics, I have no clue how they would break that up. How does guys? Let me know, how does Invincible handle it? Is every season of Invincible, generally speaking, a certain amount of issues, or is it just kind of fast and loose? Is it just however they can? Corey Burton has so much crazy range, I didn't know he was Spike and G1 and Megatron and animated. Corey Burton's great. Speed up the animations and voice lines just a tad. Emperor Kumquat proved this helps. Yep. I've spoken with Emperor Kumquat about that. It does help, but I still think there's some pretty bad voice performances due to the direction. So, will Prowl show up because I really miss him and Blue Streak deserves his bro back? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I know with this image going up right now, up in the actually, let's see where it is, in the left corner. I know a lot of people were excited to see Prowl, but Swizz pointed out the fact that it's probably meant to be Blue Streak because he's missing, and he was probably just miscolored as Prowl because he doesn't have his police badges, and I don't think Prowl has the shoulder cannons. So, which happens. We've seen it before. Characters being colored as other characters. Miscolorations. It happens. Invincible was 144 issues and was season 4 over next week. We're halfway through the show, so 75 issues roughly divided by 4 seasons so far. Okay. And how many episodes are there per season? I would love if the EU did Autobot X as a full horror story. Yeah, they do need to bring in Autobot X. I'm not really sure about the order of the Invincible comics, but I think they cover like 20 to 30 issues. 8 episodes per season. Okay. Rock talking about War for Cybertron trilogy. The show is flawed fundamentally, so fixing problems on a shaky foundation is just a fool's errand. You would have to rebuild it from the ground up. Yeah, I understand. I agree with you. Roughly 40 to 50 minutes long. Oh, okay, 40 to 50 minutes long. That's still quite a bit of time. But it seems like they're not, issue 1 is episode 1, issue 2 is episode 2, issue 3 is episode 3. It seems like they're kind of, again, compressing, like we had said about the potential of this show, compressing the storyline of, hey, here are the big things that happen within these issues. How are we going to break them out? It's going to be 1 episode, 2 episode, so on and so forth. That's like One Piece live action. Okay, I guess the One Piece live action show does it too, and that makes sense. Adapting one issue to one episode would be impossible, because some issues would require 2 episodes, and you would also have other issues like issue 31. There's no way issue 31 could be a 40-minute episode. No way. I mean, you could drag it out. You could add more in and extend, but I don't think it's necessary. Episode 1 is like issue 1 and issue 8, while episode 2 is issue 2 through 7, plus bits of 8 and 10. Yeah. So, it's not a 1-to-1. It's an adaptation, and that makes sense. So, some episodes only cover one issue, while other cover a whole volume's worth. Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely. Salt says, you're thinking of Brian Drummond, who did voice characters in Cyberverse. He did voice Eggman in the Sonic Prime Netflix show. He's been in everything from Dragon Ball Z to My Little Pony, and to, Onoa and Matt Tao in Bionicle. Okay, yeah. Brian Drummond. I always think of him when I think of Transformers or Bionicle or Sonic. I always think of Brian Drummond. A very recognizable voice. So, he was Eggman in Sonic Prime. Interesting, I didn't know that. Aren't there multiple? Anyways, I don't want to get us started on Sonic. This is a Transformers channel. But he's that guy with voice acting. Yeah, we love it. We absolutely love it. I don't like how Robert Kirkman just allowed Optimus to hand the Matrix to Alita. I think it should have been like Prime, where the Matrix chose the next Prime, not the person wielding it. King Prime, just so you're aware, I don't want to get too far into issue 30. I've made 2 videos on it now. Optimus did hand the Matrix to Alita, but we have confirmed in the comic that the Matrix is who chose the next Prime. So even if Optimus handed it for Alita to hold it, Alita did not choose. Optimus did not choose Alita as the next Prime. The Matrix chose. But again, I've already made 2 videos on that. I don't want to get too far into that. I do like the variant cover of Invincible Fighting Sound Movie. That's right, they did do Transformers and Invincible variants. I think it was last month. Yeah. One criticism I give Danny Warren Johnson's Skybound run is that there could have been more breathing room. I got the Omnibus Book 1 of Energon Universe for Christmas. Read it 2.5 times, and those issues move fast. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Rock, because the biggest complaint I've had with Kirkman's run is that it's way too fast, and I wish it slowed down like Kirkman's. So I think that kind of shows you everybody has a different way of interpreting the pace of a comic. So, what's up, Robot Prophet's Moon? Jeff Bloom as Hound. That would be funny. Let's see here. I would want season 1 of the Energon universe to be the first arc of the book. Well, again, you got to think about it, Robot. That's this potential show would cover, not just Transformers, but G.I. Joe and Void Rivals. So it would have to move quite a bit. So, just a shame that he and Cullen would probably be too old by then. Dave, you're saying, I have to say, I think judging from Invincible Performance, Frank Welker could absolutely do a Skybound Megatron voice. Yeah, Dave, we talked about this earlier. I don't think that Peter Cullen should be Optimus Prime for the show. I think they should get somebody with a younger voice. Having Peter Cullen in the show would be great, but I think it would be best for Optimus to have a younger voice. And I think there's people out there who see that as sacrilegious, but other people can voice Optimus Prime. Scorponok versus Alita Prime's team on Cybertron would be cool. It'd be interesting if they introduce Scorponok in. Hound is my mom's favorite Transformer. Well, you know, I think Hound is a lot of people's mom's favorite Transformer. What in the hell have I been missing? Omega, you're going to have to go back and listen to this whole thing. What are some voice actors you want to see in the series? You know, I want them to surprise me. I would love for them to surprise me with who they get for who. You know, pick some sleeper hits. You know, specifically John Goodman's Hound. Okay. Yeah, John Goodman as Hound is definitely wouldn't fit for the comics. So, but he is a one of a kind voice for Hound. I'm going to have some questions if I ask my mom her favorite, and she says Hound. Yeah. I would like each property to be an episode of the show. Transformers Episode 1, G.I. Joe Episode 1. So Robot, I think the reason that wouldn't work, and we talked about this earlier, is some people were saying, why not do Season 1 is Transformers, Season 2 is G.I. Joe, Season 3 is Void Rivals, something like that. The problem with that is you're immediately going to see viewership drop. You're going to have Transformers fan go, I'm going to watch Episode 1 and skip Episode 2 and 3. And I think that's just not, in terms of, strictly in terms of, from a marketing standpoint, having people watch the show. I think having every episode like that would be a bad idea. I feel like it being interconnected would just be better. You would also have more breathing room to cut from Transformers stuff over to Void Rivals, over to G.I. Joe, and so on and so forth. I might be part of few who liked the last season of Earthspark because they made the animation better and felt like I was watching a movie. I also just appreciated the work they put into it. Robot, you're not alone. Autobot Sonic, who was in here earlier, really loves Earthspark. You should talk to them about that. I have not watched through Earthspark yet, so I don't have any thoughts on that. Someone in one of your videos said that Kirkman's run feels like bullet points being made. I described that as Ruby writing. A lot of set pieces that they are trying to get to without enough build-up. I think that's a fair criticism. Autobot Sonic is asking, what about Earthspark? Robot? How do you say your name? Robotobot990 was talking about how they enjoyed the last season of Earthspark. I said that Autobot Sonic would be... there you go. You guys have connected now. Not exactly a casting, because I do want new voice actors, but I always hear Corey Burton's voice when reading Skybound Megatrons. Yeah, that's fair. I really like Scorponok and Earthrise. It would be cool if they kept him alive. Haven't seen the last season of Earthspark yet. I plan on doing so on vacation. Yeah. I, again, haven't watched the show yet. It's on my list, though. It's on my list. Invincible has a lot of plot lines happening at the same time, so I could definitely see the same thing going on for the Energon Universe show. Yeah, absolutely. There's a way to balance 3 different main storylines going on. I binged Earthspark Season 1, and when I began Season 2, I immediately felt the quality drop. Yeah, I did hear there was a quality drop between Season 1 and 2, which is unfortunate. Comparing Daniel Warren Johnson's run to Kirkman's run is like the Infinity Saga to the Multiverse Saga. People will automatically hate what is new because it's not the OG, but there's still good stuff. So Atomic Prime, I think what unfortunately happens a lot here is that people think, even myself, people think I'm comparing Johnson's 24 issues to Kirkman's 5 issues. Well, 6 issues now. But I'm not. When I do comparisons like that, I'll compare Daniel Warren Johnson's first arc to Kirkman's arc. I do think it's unfair to compare 5 issues, now 6, to 24. And so if you're going to do a comparison like that, you should do per arc. Hey, let's compare Volume 1 to Volume 5, or Volume 2 to Volume 5. But I think a lot of people automatically assume that people like myself or other content creators are just comparing 24 issues to 5 issues, 6 issues. And that's, at least that's not what I'm doing. But I will absolutely compare Volume 1 to Volume 5. Absolutely, because it's kind of the same block of issues. So I like Tarantulas in Earthspark. They should have brought him back after that one episode. So I actually have seen the Tarantulas episode, but that's just because I love Tarantulas. So Rory McCann voices Megatron in Earthspark. I think he does excellent. I have heard his work on that. He does sound great. I view Kirkman's first arc as a completely transitional phase. He wanted to get to the story. He wanted to get the story to be how he wants it, without just disrespecting what Daniel Warren Johnson did. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Henry Cavill as, I have no idea. It's Henry Cavill as Bulkhead. There you go. Henry Cavill as Wreck-Gar. Scottish Megatron is goated. I like to think I'm unbiased when it comes to Kirkman and Daniel Warren Johnson. While I dislike the Elita stuff, I understood why it happened and thought it was interesting. I think that's a very good way to look at it. You may not like the execution of it, but the ideas behind it are cool. Yeah, and it's grown on me over time. Henry Cavill as Optimus Prime. Yeah, it could work. You never know. Robert Kirkman was trying to find his footing with Transformers Skybound. Muscle Man is Skuxwade. So I will say this before we wrap it up here, because it's getting late. I will say this in terms of people who read Robert Kirkman's 5 issues, 25 through 30, and decided to leave the comic. There's a lot of people that have pushed back against that reaction of, hey, I read Kirkman's 5 issues. I don't want to read this comic anymore, and have said that that's unfair. And I think that giving a creator 5 issues is actually way more than fair. Because for me, if I pick up a new comic, or an existing comic with a new writer, I can decide within probably about 2 issues if I'm going to stay on or not. And this is different for everybody. But it's fair given the price of comics, Cody says. Yeah, and I'm not even bringing price into it because everybody has a different budget. But that is a good point. For me personally, it's the same with a TV show. I'm going to watch an episode of a TV show, and if I go, I don't know, I'm going to watch another one. Normally by the second episode, I'm going to go, this is not for me, even if the show gets better later. If it does, then that's great. But 5 issues is not fair. I was no happier than the next person when issue 30 dropped, but as the tides calmed and the fire fizzled out, I saw the potential. I think 5 issues is fair for people to say, oh, I'm done. You know, I know there's plenty of people who read Daniel Warren Johnson's first 2 issues and were like, this is not for me. I think for me, 2 to 3 issues in, I can tell if a comic is for me or not. You know, but what I also think is great about this is that if you don't like Kirkman's writing for Transformers, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy Daniel Warren Johnson's. Or if you didn't like Daniel Warren Johnson's, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy Robert Kirkman's. They're part of the same story, the same universe. They're connected, but they're presented in a way that you can enjoy them separately, like you can with any media. You know, you can enjoy movie 2 of a trilogy and not watch movie 1 or 3. You know, freedom of choice to, consume the products that you like. So, Muscle Man is Skuxoid. I hear you. I'm still reading it and having a blast, but I can get people just, after 5 issues. Yeah. I've heard someone say that Daniel Warren Johnson's run is emotional for the sake of being emotional and has little to no substance. I would highly disagree with that, but again, it's how everybody reads it personally. I only trust Kirkman because I love giving chances. The same guy who made Invincible, Walking Dead. I love Transformers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not off the comic. I'm still reading the comic. Yeah. What convinced me to read was your video. Actually, I saw the Alita is a bad character short and the Young Optimus Prime video, and those hooked me. Oh, thank you. Did I make a short called Alita is a bad character? Did I make something? I was probably saying like her character is a bad guy, not that she's poorly written. People should watch Transformers Cyberworld because yes, it's not serious like most, but I would call it dumb fun. So far, it's a compelling story. Yeah, I need to read it. If we're watching it, hey, Robot, we're going to be watching it in the Discord server. So join up. Same thing for me. It was that young Optimus video that made me read the comics. Oh, thanks, Dave. I hope they do more with RC Magnus going forward. I felt like her introduction was overshadowed by the rest of the arc. I would agree with you. I hope to see more of her. Think she could be utilized better. You made me get into reading again in general. Well, thank you, Rav. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of great comics out there to read. Past Transformers and the Energon universe. There really is. And Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers is what got me into comics. I did not grow up reading comics, so I owe a lot to that series for getting me into this hobby and reading more often. Salt says, I think the problem is people will say, I read 5 issues and it's bad. Or they'll say, I read 5 issues and it's not for me. And people think they mean the former. Absolutely. Absolutely. But Salt, I absolutely agree with you, Salt. That is a worldwide issue, both on the internet and in real life. What people should say, I mean, there are cases where you objectively can say this is a poorly made product. But I think a lot of the times, maybe even 90% of the time, what people are trying to say is, I did not enjoy this, but it comes out as, this is bad. And again, it's a fine line, because there are things that are objectively poorly made. And when you don't like something, you're not really going to defend it. So, but that, Salt, you and I talk about that all the time in the server. We'll get into deep conversation about that in the server, but yeah. Jensen Ackles as Duke. Hold up, I'm going to join the server. Sounds chill. Omega, if you go to the Patreon, join the server, just a reminder that you are not required to pay monthly. For anybody here who's looking to join the server through Patreon, it is $1 for lifetime access. Patreon is a monthly subscription type thing, so it'll automatically say, hey, we're going to charge you monthly. You can turn that off. It's just kind of, a security measure to make sure we don't just have a bunch of random people joining in and griefing the server. So, yeah. It said that they've kind of abandoned the Iron Apprentice thing with RC and Carly. We'll have to see. RC is still on Earth. I wouldn't say it's abandoned yet, but who knows? Who knows if they'll continue it, Do you think Daniel Warren Johnson should have stayed as the writer for Transformers Skybound? No. Absolutely not. I love Daniel Warren Johnson. I love every single one of his comics. He is one of my favorite writers, artists of all time. But I truly believe, like I was saying earlier, he is the type of artist that needs to constantly work on something new. And I think he does his best work when he has a short, concise story to tell. That being said, if he stayed on for Transformers for longer, I wouldn't complain. But I think it was the right call on his part to leave the comics so he could go work on other stories that he wanted to tell. I think you can tell in his work that the longer he stays on a title, the more drawn out and tired he sounds in his creative voice. Because he's so good at telling very concise, precise stories. So no, I do not think that he should have stayed on longer than 24. But again, I also wouldn't have complained if he did. I think it was the right choice on his point to hop off and to move on to the next thing. Any other Daniel Warren Johnson recommendations? I'm glad you asked, Rav. All of his comics are good. I have a video on my channel here on Delta Trion where I rank every single one of his comics. If you don't want to watch through it, it's an hour long. I totally get that. Skip to the end where you can see my official ranking of all of his comics. You cannot go wrong with any of his titles. You cannot. So watch the hour-long video or just kind of skip to the end to see what is ranked where. But Murder Falcon, I believe, is his magnum opus. Do a Powerbomb is my favorite of his titles. And then Beta Ray Bill, Argent Star. Those are some really, really good ones that are really, really, I think, hit you in the feels in a really good way. So those are some really good ones to read. We'll be watching the entire hour. Thank you. Thank you, Rav. That video really flew under the radar. But again, this is a Transformers channel. You know, not many people had interest in that. But I'm still very proud of that video. But anytime I see it on the channel, I will admit, I look at it and go, oh man, I wish more people watched that. But that's okay. It's there on the internet forever. Salt says, having Daniel Warren Johnson work on a years-long series is like 5-star chef making burgers every day. Yeah. Yeah. Rock, it looks like you're talking about romance here. You say, that said, I don't dislike Transformers romance. I love it. I just feel like new character dynamics would be more of a breath of fresh air for the franchise. I agree with you. Do you think Daniel Warren Johnson will ever come back or collab with Kirkman on the comic besides just, covers? I don't know. It's possible that he may come back for some... I actually think he's involved in the next Energon Universe special. Let me look that up. I'm pretty sure Johnson is involved. Energon Universe special. Sorry, I have to type it out. Energon Universe 2026 special. Maybe he is not. I could be wrong. It looks like he's not. Okay, I thought he was. Yeah, it looks like it's Kirkman and Jason Howard. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to work on something like that. But I know he's also busy writing his other series right now. I'm a new sub, love your content. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. What if Skybound series used a TF1 influenced art style? That'd definitely be interesting. All right, gotta go. Had a great time listening. Thank you, Cody. I would love if Transformers would take a risk with a Transformers X Human dynamic too. A story of Power Glide. Please, sorry, I'm yapping. Well, good thing is, Rock, there is a Power Glide Astoria story here on the channel, the audiobook. If you haven't listened to it, I'm always plugging it since it's a lesser known thing. Man, we had a great turnout tonight. Man, I've almost been going for 2 hours? It's been 2 hours now. I commented on that video. I probably replied to it. Thank you for being there. More TF audiobooks. There will be another TF audiobook. I gave need Skids and Human like Marvel. No other questions. The Power Glide audiobook is peak. Thank you. I did give a preview out for the next audiobook. I said that there are multiple Cybertronian characters in it. One of them is red, and the other character features some red on them as well. If you're going by their Generation 1 appearances. That is all I will tell you. That is all I will say. The art is so nice too. Oh, well, Cheesy Cryptid is the artist who does the artwork for all the audiobooks. And if you want to speak with her, she's actually in the Delta Trion Discord server. So she's a wonderful individual, and I actually also had her on More Than Meets the Mic, the interview show here on the channel. So it was great to talk with her. She's amazing to work with. Such a lovely person and a fantastic artist. Salt says we just have to narrow it down from the 50 red characters in Generation 1. Guys, thanks so much for coming. Before I close out, I see the number of viewers dropping, but I had mentioned that that we would have something here at the end of stream. And what I'm gonna do here, let me just get this together. I promise I'm doing something here. I'm just trying to copy something here. Would love to have you in the server. You can join the server. It's only $1 again through Patreon. Patreon is a monthly thing. It's not required. That being said, to thank you guys for coming, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat right before I leave. It is free access to the server, I'm just letting you know it has 5 uses. So it's first come, first serve. 5 uses. So the first 5 people who click the link can get in for free. That's just what we're gonna do for today. If you don't get a chance, it's only $1. It's not required. Again, the $1 is just kind of a security measure. That way we don't end up like Swizz Prime's server. Love you, Swizz. Love you, buddy. Thank you everybody for coming. Again, 5 uses. So if you don't get it, I apologize. It's the luck of the draw. So thank you guys for coming. Always a pleasure to talk to y'all. Always a highlight of my month. And if you can, join the server. We have a lot of fun there. I will leave the chat up, and you guys have a good night. See you later.